Alright, welcome to the channel. This will just be an introduction video. This is my puppy, Sophie, who's decided she wants to pick this moment to be annoying. This channel will be just about stuff that I do that I find interesting, that I think will be amusing for viewers. It's going to primarily be about paintball, which is why, go on, get out of here, go. Which is why I want to start out my first video being a video about starting out in paintball. Apparently both my pets want to be in the video. Can you strike her? No, I don't want to cuddle, go on. I just wanted to start out with safety. We'll go on to hoppers and protective equipment, gear that you'll want to buy as an upgrade, and stuff like that. And then I'll go on to field etiquette and stuff like that. All right. So no, I don't want to cuddle that. So to start off, every field, when you first show up, either they'll have somebody tell you at the front desk when you're signing your waiver, or they'll have somebody come over to the area where you stage, where you put all your equipment, and they'll have them explain to you the rules and etiquette and all that on the field. But I just wanted to go over it so you were prepared ahead of time and you knew what you were going into. Not that there's anything scary or that you need to brace yourself for. It doesn't really hurt to play paintball. Despite what anybody's told you, it's not a painful experience. First off, they're going to tell you that when you're on the field, your mask must stay on at all times. Usually most fields, the ones I've been to, it's a one strike, you're out sort of deal. You take your mask off, you're done, you're gone for the day. That's because paintballs, while they're soft, they're just gel filled with liquid paint, water-based paint. They are soft enough to not hurt when they hit you on your shoulder, your chest, your stomach, your neck. The head hurts a bit, I'll admit that one made me cringe. They're not going to cause any permanent, serious damage to the rest of your body. If they hit you in the eye or the face, they will cause damage. They are capable of taking an eye out at close range. So a lot of fields, like I said, will just send you home if they feel that you're being unsafe. And part of that is taking off your mask. Another thing is when you're in the staging area, this is called a barrel sock or a barrel bag. Basically what this does, I'll use this mini, it's a speedball marker, talk more about that later. Basically what that does is it goes over the end of your barrel, and when your gun is gassed up, when you have a tank on it and there's air pressure in the gun, blah, 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 it stops you from being able to fire paint out of your gun at somebody who doesn't have a mask on. You'll be required to have this on the end of your barrel when you're in the staging area. There are exceptions. You can take it off if you've degassed your gun already. And all that is on this one, there's a little lever. There's no air pressure inside the gun. If there was a tank on, I flip this forward, there's no air pressure left inside the gun. If it's degassed, it's not going to fire paintballs. That you can take it apart, you can work on it, you can clean it, clear out broken balls, chop paint, stuff like that. But for the most part, you're going to be keeping your bag on, your barrel bag on, and your mask on your face on the field. With masks, you have I have two entry-level masks, and the one I use now, my V-Force Profiler. This is a GT Spectra, and this is an extreme range. I forget what they call it. I got it long ago. This mask is, you can get this mask under $50. It's a single pane, what they call a fog resistant lens. What that means is it's a single layer of plastic, single protective layer of plastic. Yes, Drake, I see you. Go on. And it has a coating on it or a treatment to it that it will resist fogging. Big guy like me, I tend to sweat a lot and I get hot when I play paintball. This doesn't work for me. But for you, it might be a great starter mask. This is what my girlfriend uses and she doesn't have a problem with it. Has little rubber flaps on the inside that you can cut away if you wear glasses. And it does its job. It's hard all the way over, all the way around, so it will stop paint from hitting you and hurting you, but it doesn't do you any favors when it comes to staying in the game. Same thing with this mask. This is my old mask. This is what I give to people when I invite them out paintballing. It does the job. It's a dual pane thermal lens. What that means is dual panes are like the windows in your house. There's two layers of plastic, a vacuum in between, and it separates your body heat from the temperature on the other side of the glass, and it eliminates fog that way. Again, useless for me. It's a cheap $50 mask. Seriously, bud, you're trying to lay on me? I'm not even sitting down. Go on. Getting cuddle raped by my cat. Yeah, so this is an under $50 mask. That's an under $50 mask. They will both do what you need them to do when you start playing paintball. Everybody out there starts with a crummy mask. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything. I started out, my girlfriend's starting out, Dono from Stuff with Dono, he started out with a crummy mask. Everybody starts out with a crummy mask. It'll do you for what you need. Like I said, it's a cheap mask and it works. And it keeps your eyes and face intact. Keeps you looking pretty. Kept me looking pretty. This is, I call it a mid-level mask. It's way better than those two, but it's not as good as some masks out there. This is an $80 mask. It has rubber parts on it. There are parts of the mask that are flexible, and the whole thing overall is a little bit more flexible than those ones. It has a quick detach system for the lens, so you can swap out the lenses and customize it that way. It comes with the forehead guard or the visor. I don't have the forehead guard here. And the strap comes off, so you can toss that in the wash if you get a crazy amount of paint on it. This is a great mask. This is what you will be upgrading to eventually. If you're in paintball for a while. So those are the masks, right? And that's your safety, your standard safety equipment, the masks and the barrel bags. Optional safety equipment, and something I recommend and something I use a lot, are impact gloves, construction grade gloves. You can get tactical paintball gloves. You can get speedball gloves with fingerless that don't have the two index and middle finger. These will save your hands. These are awesome. I love the Mechanics Impact. They're great gloves. I never bruised. I got shot a million times in the hands with these things. Never bruised. They're washable, which is a big plus, and they're a good addition. As well, you can see I have a baseball cap. This one doesn't fit me anymore, but I suggest a fitted kind. That way you can wear it backwards underneath your mask. And then the beak protects the back of your neck. So that's, you wear the hat. You can also wear, this is a beanie. It's kind of like a baseball cap. It just doesn't have the beak. My girlfriend wore this last time we played. This is what I wear when I go out. It's a head wrap. The end of it tucks into this little hole here. Just covers my head. And then there's this. This is a buff. They come in a million different colors. They come in camo patterns. They come in, they have balaclavas. They have bandana versions, which have a little triangle at the bottom. They're really light. You can double them over and wear them kind of like a face warmer or like a scarf. I wear this over my nose and mouth. Just keeps the paint out of my mouth because I don't like the taste of paint. And it also helps me camouflage that a little bit better. They have a green hunt buff, which is pretty cool. It's a woodland camo pattern, but that's an example of protective gear you can wear. Towards the end of the season, it starts getting a little more chilly. This is what my girlfriend wears, just some insulating dollar store gloves. She's going to be getting better gloves. But you can also wear this. Doesn't have to be the expensive $50 gloves. You can get chest protectors, which are kind of like bulletproof vests. They're a hard part here, and then on the back, they're shirts that have the chest protector integrated into them. You can get chest protectors that look like the stuff the military wears with the molly. You can attach pouches to it. You can attach a pouch like this because it's got the straps on the back. There's a million different things you can wear to protect yourself while you're playing. And it's always a good idea to get more protective gear. There are guys that go out dressed in just a t-shirt. It's up to you. It all depends on your tolerance. Like I said, it doesn't really hurt. I just go out in a combat shirt and khaki pants, and that works for me. So yeah, that's the PPE, the personal protective equipment you can wear. If you do go the route of getting a kit, 9 times out of 10 it'll come with something that looks like this, as opposed to the other 2 tanks that have valves on them. This doesn't. This is a CO2 tank, a carbon dioxide tank. So what this is a carbon dioxide gas. It fills up carbon dioxide pressurized as a liquid, and then it expands to a gas. These are cheap because these are more expensive actually, but they're cheaper for the store, the company to include in a package because it's just literally a valve on a tank. It will end up costing you more money, and it will be a little bit more limiting as to how you play because CO2 costs more to fill, and you can't fill it at a field, unlike you can with an HBA tank. An HBA tank, this is the one my girlfriend uses. That's the one I got with my kit. An HPA tank has high pressure air, that's what it stands for. This one is 13 cubic inches at 3,000 psi. What that means is the volume of it is 13 cubic inches, the pressure of it is 3,000 psi. These will cost more than the CO2 tanks initially, but they will be cheaper in the long run because most fields will provide unlimited air refills. Usually it's for a $5 surcharge at the beginning of the day, or it's included in the price of pay or something. But you just hook that into the hose, you press the lever or something happens and it fills up your bottle. These are well worth it. This 13 cubic inch isn't the biggest, doesn't have the best capacity, but it'll do you for a game, and then you can refill it and then you can go play a game. It'll get you through the day. This one is what I use. This is a 48 cubic inch, 3,000 psi. Same thing as that, except it has a larger capacity. And I put this on my back and I play all day and I don't have a problem. How I can get away with doing that is through this. This is my marker right here that I use. And this is a hose, it's called a remote line. It just hooks into the back of my marker like that, and then this end hooks to my back, and I can put my tank on my back and it's not an issue. Alright, and that's an example of how you can upgrade as you go with air systems. Right, you can start out here, move to this, and then there are carbon fiber tanks, there are 90 4800 cubic 90 4800 tanks, which just means a larger bottle with higher pressure, and you can go on and on, and you can get bigger and bigger tanks. With markers, or I'll go up to with hoppers. This is what my girlfriend uses right now. This is what came with her kit. It's a plain Jane Empire gravity feed hopper. What that means is it's just two halves of the shell stuck together. You load the paint in the top, and then gravity and shaking and recoil from your gun and moving around moves the paint down the neck into the marker. These are usually pretty cheap, and around 20 bucks for one of these. This is like maybe $5 more expensive than the gravity feed. I don't know, I haven't looked at them in a while. This is what's called an agitation feed hopper. It's constantly on. It's always on while you're on the field. And it has a little white, you can see down at the bottom, a little white circle in there. Kind of looks like the bottom of a toilet bowl with fins on it. And what this does is agitates the paint and gets the paint moving around and shakes it up for you, and then pushes it down the neck, or helps it move down the neck into your marker more easily. This is what I started out with. And then there's this. This is what's called a force feed hopper. It has a wheel in it with little spots for the paintballs, and it works kind of like you ever see a rotary dial phone? It's kind of what it looks like. And it just spins, and it grabs paintballs, and it spins, and it puts them in a tube, and it only turns on and loads paint as you pull the trigger, and it just pushes it down the tube, through the down the neck and into your marker. When you need it, it's a supply on demand sort of deal. This is what you're going to want. This is the type of marker you're going to want to move up to. This is a mid-level marker. Doesn't have the settings and all the rest of it as say Prophecy Z2, but this will be good for most of you guys if you're not going to be getting into speedball and that. Pod carriers. This is a pod right here. In order to keep track of all my pods, because everybody that plays paintball has pods, I put a black band. I'm going to suggest that you do the same and just mark it in a way that's uniquely yours. You can write your initials, you can put an X on the top, you can do a line down the side, you can do whatever. Just mark it in a way that is uniquely yours, because people do lose these. They leave them on the field, and they're just random pods laying around, and then they can't find them, and then there's no way to know if they're theirs when they are found at a later date. So I mark mine, and it works for me. These go into, this is my girlfriend's pod pack. This suits her for what she needs. Goes in like that, somewhat, and you wrap this around your waist, and it'll carry your paint for you. You can pop out the pod, load your hopper, and then keep playing when you run out of paint in your hopper. All of them have the spring in the lid to help them pop open on the field. I've yet to see one that doesn't. This is where you might want to start out. This one was $10 at the local Army supply store. So that's where you can start out, and then you can move up to something like this. This is my pod belt. I've added suspenders to it to help take some of the weight of the bottle and the pods off my hips and on my shoulders, make it more ergonomic for myself. This is what's called a 6+1. Has places for 6 pods plus my tank. I mentioned earlier I wear my tank on my back, so this is where I put it, right here. And this is how I run my setup, and I love it. It's all about how you want to run your equipment, but that's an example. You can move from that to this as you start playing. Markers. A good starter marker, and this is anybody ever asks me what is a good starter marker for getting into paintball. I'm tired of using the rental markers. I want to actually buy a marker. What marker do I get? Well, that's this one, the BT4 Slice Combat. I started out with the Gen 1 BT Combat. I added a longer barrel and a buttstock to mine, and I've been using it for almost a decade now. So it works and it keeps working. It's a tough marker. This is my girlfriend's. It's the updated version. You just unscrew the barrel, pop out a pin, flip it open, and you can clean everything inside. And it's really simple. It's really easy to maintain. It's a long-lasting marker. Mine, I've only ever done a O-ring swap in the entire internals once. And a couple months ago, I did the first drive spring change in it. A lot of technical talk, but basically what it means is I haven't had to do any major upgrades or maintenance to my marker in almost 10 years. So tough marker, great marker to start out with. It'll take a beating. It's really hard to blow one of these up. It's really massively upgraded. They have upgradable. They have shrouds. They have different barrels. They have an electronic grip frame that allows you to shoot full automatic or burst or whatever. And they're simple to operate. Push button safety. That's how you cock it, and you can fire all day. Don't need a whole crap load of lube to run. I've run mine completely dry. I don't suggest you do that. It's not good for the marker, but it will keep going. This has a locking feed neck. Mine's just a bullet. But yeah, this is a good starter marker. This is what my girlfriend uses, and this is what's considered a woods ball marker. You can get a shroud and all the rest of it and turn it into a scenario marker, which is just like guys like playing in simulated military style engagements. But yeah, this is a really great marker to start out with. I can't say enough good things about BT. I love their markers. That's why I got that for my girlfriend. This is my marker. As I said, I've upgraded mine with a collapsing buttstock. I need to clean it. A 14-inch barrel. You know, I've done the internals on it, and it still kicks. It still does what it's supposed to do. It still runs like a champ. So, you know, you can upgrade your marker. You know, you can add stuff to your marker, or you can just get another marker if you find that you want to continue on to Speedball. This is a Speedball marker. It's an Empire Mini GS. It has the clamping feed neck like my girlfriend's. It's a fully electronic gun. It's battery operated. There's a 9-volt in here. It's a trigger, and it's got an on-off switch. I don't know if you can see the light, but this is 100% electric. It will fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. Great little gun. I haven't had a chance to get out on the field and play with it, but Dono has sold me this, and he has used it. So if you have questions, ask him. I will probably be using this in my future videos. Has a ASA, an on-off ASA, which basically just regulates the pressure from the bottle into the marker itself. And then you flick this forward, and it's degassed and it's safe, as I said earlier, to take apart and clean. It has laser eyes in it, which basically tells the board when it has a paintball in it and when it can fire. And this is a little bit more complicated. I would not suggest this as a starter marker, but you can go get to this eventually. When you start playing after a while, you will notice that your equipment will start to wear out. You'll lose parts and stuff like that. There are parts kits available. I would suggest getting a parts kit after a couple of years of playing as you start getting more into the game. Parts kits are great. They have all the O-rings, all the spare springs, bolts, ball detents, stuff like that in them, and they're a great idea to get. This is one for my Mini. I also included the cleaning and the tools in there. You can get, I have a wrench for my airline. I also have Teflon tape and stuff like that that I carry with me in my my bag, just so I can do, if I have a leak or something like that, I can take care of it on the field. Cleaning supplies. This is a barrel squeegee. And what that does is I have my stock barrel, my old barrel. You just put it down the barrel, pull it through, and it'll clean out all the paint inside your barrel. This is a lifesaver on the field. You know, if you have a break ball or something happens, you chop paint, because that does happen even in the most reliable markers. Put this down your barrel, clean all that paint out, put your barrel back on, and your marker will fire again. You leave broken paint in your barrel, and it will just continue spraying like a shotgun broken piece of paint. The other things I have in here are a microfiber rag for wiping off my mask, and I also have a lens cleaner and a smaller microfiber cloth in here. I use the eyeglass cleaner and the small rag to clean off my lens between matches, and it is a lifesaver. It's a great idea to just to get yourself a couple microfiber cloths and something to clean off your equipment between games. It's really handy to have. It's a great idea to have. I keep mine in a plastic bag just to separate, at the end of the day, the gunky rag from everything else. Another thing you might want to eventually get is this is called a paintball caddy. What this does is you load half a case of paint, 1,000 paintballs into here. Take this off, take an empty pod, and you can load your pods. You're not going to need this right away, but most guys you'll see on the field will have one, and it's really handy to have. It just makes life easier. You're not fighting with a bag and holding the pod between your legs. It makes life easier. Off. Even when you're just starting out, you're going out for your first time, grab a can of or a bottle of off and throw that in your bag or your car or whatever. Bugs, especially in the middle of summer, in the middle of a rec ball field with lots of tall grass, they're going to be crazy. Bags, always a good idea. I got this with my Mini as a throw-in. Bags are always a good idea. Keep your stuff organized, keep your stuff together. I have this, I have a grocery bag, I have a backpack, and that fits all my stuff. And my girlfriend's stuff, she stores that, because she's just starting out, she stores that in the boxes it came in. Don't be afraid to throw your stuff back in the box it came in. That's where I keep my mask. I keep my hopper, both in the boxes they came in. It's a good idea to just store all your paper, your PDF CDs in the box that came in, and just throw everything back in once you cleaned it. I also have a 1,000-round box of paint that I just taped up, and that'll fit 6 pods, and that does what I need it to do. So don't be afraid to store stuff in grocery bags and boxes until you get your own equipment bag. That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I have here. Screwdrivers, good idea. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, when you go out, just go out to have fun. Your first time, you probably will be using rental equipment if you're not going with somebody who has a spare marker or something like that. I usually, like I said earlier, lend out that middle mask, and I'll probably end up giving people this to use with the stock barrel on it, just to make it more fun for them. But if you use rental equipment, that's not a big deal either. And yeah, go out and have fun. Paintball is, I always like to refer to it as a brotherhood. You have any problems, you have any questions, you have any concerns or anything like that, don't be afraid to turn your fellow player or turn to somebody in the staging area and just ask them. 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other thing. We love sharing information. We love being helpful because it gets more people into the game. And the more people play the game, the more fun it is, because you have different play styles, you have different personalities. It makes things more interesting and more competitive and more fun for everybody involved. So don't be afraid to get into paintball. Don't be afraid to buy your own equipment. Don't be afraid of anything with paintball. Nobody's gonna be mean. But yeah, it is a fun sport. It is a friendly sport. Even if you just go to play rec ball, you can still have a blast. So I highly recommend getting into it. And I look forward to seeing you guys again on this channel. And yeah, get out there and have fun, guys.